So first off, I need to show you, like, to basically, for this to make sense, I have to show you my bash RC. You're going to understand what happens when I'm in TTY1 and I'm at the first login. That's what the SH level is 1 and TTY1. In which case it will call this function underscore start X. And that's there it is. This is that function right here. So what it does is it attempts to fetch google.com to check that I'm connected to the internet. Kind of a lazy way, but it will attempt a few times, and if it fails, then it will just kind of keep on going forever. It will use YCD curses to try to connect to the internet. And once it does connect to the internet, it will continue on, and then it will set the client. So that's what the xinit RC. So I use a custom one. I'm going to use X, and then I get the first display. It's another function. I'm not going to go into detail there. And I set the display to that, what that function replies with, and then I start up the desktop with that. So then it goes xinit, and it starts up. And this happens upon logging in. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because I did not log in through TTY1, I actually logged in through TTY3. So now, if I go ahead and vi.xinitRC, typing with one hand is not easy. So I can show you this. So you see the other lines are commented out, but this one here, ST. So if I type in start X, what it's going to do is it's going to start X with basically the simple terminal from suckless, ST. So if you see this, I have a cursor and everything. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to type in vi to open vi. And you can see that there's actually a terminal here, but all the other stuff is blank. From this terminal, I can start typing commands and opening applications, and I can move them. Well, actually, I can't move them around because there's no window manager. But I can do something like xset root. I haven't done this in a while. Solid. There you go. So I set the background to white. So you can see I am indeed running an X server. So I can go ahead and log out of that, and that boots me back to the teletype TTY console, whatever you want to call it. So now I'm going to log in through my main TTY. Really fast. And you can see there's my desktop. And at this point I'm going to go ahead and switch into the desktop recording.
Okay, now I'm on my desktop and you see this kind of picture. Well, this is completely random because I actually have an entire list. In fact, right now I actually have it logging the image. If I... last image? Yeah, there you go. You can immediately see the Undertale 2.jpg. And if I go over to this folder, you can see there's a whole list of pictures. You know, there's just a whole bunch of them. Because I don't like a boring desktop. Anyways, yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. To really understand what's happening, you have to see what's going on in here. So first of all, I have the... what the hell? I have the source code to DWM in here. It's actually a modified thing. A couple of patches and some hacking of my own. Let's see. Name tag. Yeah. So right here, for example, this will attempt to get the file name. And the files is xdwm tags. I meant vim. This is just a bunch of lines. If I were to change this to, and then I do this, as you can see the name actually changes. And that's why the name tag plugin is convenient. I actually modified it to take from the file instead of from the user, because when you try to put something like parentheses, it kind of glitches out. It's weird. So that's why I do this. No, it was Firefox. Alright. This is kind of a lot of stuff I've been building up over a long period of time. And if you were to try to just rip this off of what I have and apply it to your own system, you would have a lot of trouble, because there's a lot of kind of a clusterfuck of scripts that I have going. I really need to clean this up at some point. But anyways, there's the DWM and patches, and then this has all my init scripts. So I've done extensive work in trying to organize all this stuff, but even then I can't help the stuff like, if I go into the bash RC, you can see like this. This is required to get it to start, short of using startx and having the x init RC contain the line, what was it, x init and x init RC? Yeah, right there. To have it execute that. If you don't have that, then it won't start. So there's a lot of kind of stuff that's intertwined. Anyways, that's my desktop environment. So it does require kind of advanced knowledge of how X works and setting up your own environments. Because if you go into this without knowing what you're doing, you're going to, well, it's going to be really frustrating. Just show you the wallpaper. It runs at an interval. So basically every time I won't do anything. Every time this interval passes, for example like that, or me passing in the wallpaper signal, it will change to a different wallpaper. So that's some cool stuff. I can start up applications like that. You can start up GUI applications through this. You can start up scripts through this. The Q and R signals will restart and quit Vim. I mean, not Vim, I mean DWM. Sorry, I'm not the most charismatic person. And there's also like a lock script. If I lock it, I don't know if you saw that. It just occurred to me that I'm recording this on the desktop. Oh, there you go. The interval just happened. I guess I can show that real quick. So this is the whole init script here. And I made it as modular as I possibly could, because you can't actually change this without having to restart the entire desktop. So that's why I have other scripts that this calls, and that's why people do this in general, is because it's kind of a pain in the ass to have to log out and then recompile DWM or rewrite the script and then log back in if you want to change something. It's easier to make something that can handle it in the background so that you can just change some scripts and then we'll run them on an interval. Anyways, you can see right down here, it runs 3 modules, one called status bar run, the other one called wallpaper run, and finally listen. Status bar run all this does is it logs that it's starting up the status bar runner, and it will use xset root name to grab the time and all the other information and put it up here. So that's what that says. This is running every second. You can see that because it says sleep 1, and this runs in the background. So if I go over to here it is, yeah. And this is kind of a convoluted script because it breaks a lot because I'm not very good at I'm not very good with strings in bash, so this tends to break a lot. But anyways, it just tries to get the date, some disk information, and the current volume, and then we'll print it out, and that's what you have up here. So if I wanted to, I could, if I wanted to be retarded, I could do this. And then, oh, well, oh, there it is. So you see on the top, that appears up there. And see, I did this, and I didn't have to recompile DWM and restart my entire desktop. So that's why this is convenient. And that's why people do this in general. That's why you have these complicated window managers and things that run in the background for login managers that they handle this stuff. So you kind of learn a lot of stuff from doing this, but it's not easy. Like, nothing is really done for you. Oh yeah, and then I also made a, where is it? Here it is. So this is what this is a little thing I wrote to interface with the little pipe. The pipe is what the script listens to in the background to catch signals like R, Q, or a name of a program. And it will attempt to parse these. But this little interface here will actually interface with that, because there's two pipes, one for output, one for input. And if you can see, I can type in help, or no, not help, H. So it says it right up here. And then it will list all the things I can do. See, even I forget this sometimes. And you see, I have a very strict format for my scripts, because it reads the files and then prints out this information. So it's like a way I can get a quick overview. And that's not the only thing I can do. I can type in console over here. I can have a console over here. So I can just go ahead and... you can't really quit out of that console. You have to use the interrupt, Control C. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So if I go back to script and see, for example, wallpaper. Now you see it says image list. And see what this means is it takes arguments, image and list. I can send in an image, or I can send it a list of images. And what we'll do is load a random wallpaper unless I send in that argument. And I forgot what the yellow means. Oh, it's a key binding. See, if I set it to key bindings, I will make sure to note that as well. So if I wanted to start up Oozable, I could type in Alt-Shift-O, and that should start it up. Yeah. However, I'm having some trouble with Oozable. It's very glitchy. So I'm just going to get out of there. Come on. Okay. It tends to seg fault a lot. This video is running on a long time, so I better wrap this up. Oh yeah, so if I go into this wallpaper, you'll see the first 4 lines have that information. So yeah, that's how I do that. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I'm going to wrap this up now, okay?